The Bitcoin realized cap has hit an all-time high. Now, when most people think of Bitcoin, they think of the price of one Bitcoin. Today, it trades around $55,000. And somebody may say to you, the Bitcoin asset is $1 trillion. And when they're talking about $1 trillion asset, what they're talking about is the market cap itself. Now, the way that the market cap is calculated is you simply take all of the Bitcoin that is in the circulating supply and you multiply it by the price of one Bitcoin. So let's say that there was 18.9 million Bitcoin in circulation times $55,000 price point. That gets you the market cap. So outstanding number of Bitcoin in circulation times the actual price of one Bitcoin gets you that market cap. But sometimes that's not necessarily the best metric to actually understand what the value of Bitcoin is. So there's something called the realized cap. The Bitcoin realized cap is looking at the last time that Bitcoin actually traded hands. So let's say, for example, that somebody bought one Bitcoin at $30,000. Rather than that one Bitcoin counting as $55,000 towards the market cap, that one Bitcoin simply would count as $30,000 towards the realized cap. The last time that it was traded hands was at a certain price point. If somebody buys a Bitcoin today, it will count as the realized cap as $55,000. So wherever the last time that Bitcoin actually changed hands, that is the amount that counts towards that realized cap. And so what this does is basically shows the realized amount of the Bitcoin. Well, that has hit an all-time high as well. So not only do we have the market cap crossing over $1 trillion, but we now have the realized market capitalization breaking $400 billion. So even though tons of people have bought Bitcoin over the years and held it, we know that 85% of all Bitcoin in circulation right now hasn't changed hands in the last 90 days. We still hit an all-time high in the realized market capitalization. And so the realized market capitalization will always be lower than the actual market cap, but it's a really important metric to understand. This specific chart that we're going to show you now is the realized market analysis. This comes from a Bitcoin magazine article. Dylan LeClaire, a couple other folks put this together. And I love this chart because what it shows is green, yellow, and red. Green shows that there is an uptrend and we're in a bull market. The yellow is showing some sort of plateau, a consolidation, really the accumulation phase right before a massive bull run. And then red is the downtrend or the bear market. So you can go all the way back there to 2011 or so. You can see that we started in the green, we go massive bull market, we go bear. Then we go sideways accumulation, mini bull run, more accumulation, second leg to the bull run. Then in 2015 or so, bear market, really long bear market, almost 2 years, year and a half, 2 years. We then go into the accumulation phase right before 2016. Bam, 2017 hits, bull run. Go back into the bear market in 2018. 2018 to 2019, pretty much all bear market, bottom out around $3,000. But then in the beginning of 2019, we basically start to go sideways again. The cycle restarts. And so in 2019 into 2020, all accumulation. We then get that bull run at the end of 2020 that most of you are here to experience, go all the way up to 64,000. We then go back into a little bit of a bear market there, go all the way down to 30K, about 50% drawdown or so. But then we go back into accumulation. So once we go back into accumulation, we continue to consolidate sideways. And if history repeats, every single time you have that accumulation, the next thing that follows is another move upwards. And so we've never had an accumulation phase followed by a bear market. It's always accumulation, bull market, and then we go into a bear. And so it's important to kind of understand how history has played out. Again, it's not a predictor of the future, but if you look at this, you can start to understand some of the market cycles. You can start to understand how some of the price movements actually occur. And what you can really understand from this realized price analysis is that we are in that consolidation phase right now. So pretty bullish if you were to look over the next couple of months. Then lastly, we have this realized price market analysis. It's just simply a little bit zoomed in on that specific time period. So if you go back to kind of beginning of 2020, you can see right there that accumulation phase. And then with the great coloring, you can just see, bam, into that bull market starting in kind of October of 2020, goes from about $10,000, $11,000 all the way up to $64,000, ultimately peaks out at 64. And we kind of go into that bear market. Now, that bear market phase, what's really interesting about that is if you were to look at the market cap, you would actually see a very significant drawdown. If you were to look at the price per one Bitcoin, the US dollar exchange value, we went from 64,000 down to $30,000, $28,000. But when you look at the realized price, what you can tell is that there actually wasn't that level of volatility. The reason why this is much smoother is because most people were not actually selling on the way down. So that realized price doesn't move for those that aren't selling. The only time that the realized price moves is when Bitcoin is actually trading hands. And so now you can tell that even though there was a slight downtrend, not quite as severe as the price or the market cap, there was still a slight downturn. We then go right back and the realized price starts to rise again. And that's ultimately leading us today to reach that all-time high. And that realized price on a per Bitcoin basis, just over $21,000. So pretty cool to see the actual data when you start to unpack it. Not only saying that the US dollar exchange price, kind of Bitcoin equals, one Bitcoin equals $55,000 is bullish. Not only looking at things like the market cap crossing over $1 trillion, that's bullish. Not only looking at all of the social signals or the regulatory regime in terms of folks saying they're not going to ban it, that's bullish. Also looking at the on-chain metrics, looking at who's buying and who's selling, that's bullish. Long-term holders saying 85% of all Bitcoin hasn't moved in the last 90 days, that's bullish. And then when you look at the realized market price as well, you can see that that is bullish as, additionally. And so when we start to look at this, part of what's so beautiful about Bitcoin is that you really couldn't do this type of analysis with a traditional security. It would be almost impossible for you to know every single asset that traded hands at what price and be able to kind of keep track and understand what a realized price was with this level of accuracy.